Welcome to the channel where we are stuck in the Kernfield. Have you ever met anyone from Illinois? If you have, you've probably heard quite a few complaints about the state. One of our favorite pastimes is complaining about everything that's wrong with Illinois, and we'll tell anyone who will listen. Some of us even go so far as to leave the state. In fact, between the years 2010 and 2018, the state lost over 500,000 residents. According to a poll done in 2018 by the University of Illinois Springfield, 53% of Illinois' registered voters have considered moving out of the state. So today we're going to discuss why anyone thinking of leaving should just go ahead and do it. Number 5. Roads. If you live in rural Illinois, a car is just a necessity, and unfortunately that means that you pay for excessive wear and tear. Illinois has the worst roadway conditions in the country. A think tank in Washington, D.C. determined that the crumbling roads across the state and the congestion in some areas actually cost Illinoisans $18 billion every year in damaged vehicles and waste of time. And did you know that 73% of the roads are ranked as fair or worse condition? And around 16% of the bridges are considered deficient, so there are real safety concerns also. The roads were designed to last about 20 years, but in some areas the roads haven't been replaced in 40 or 50 years. And this is one of the things that Illinoisans have a hard time understanding, because there are certain roads that seem to be constantly under construction. It also leads me to the next topic on the list. Number 4. Taxes. Why are Illinois' roads so bad when we pay so many taxes? That's a question many people ask. According to Wallet Hub, Illinois is the worst state in the nation when it comes to taxes. The income tax is middle of the road. It isn't that bad, but it isn't great either. Illinois has a 4.95% flat income tax, so someone making minimum wage is paying the same exact percentage as the Chicago billionaires, and that doesn't seem fair to me, but it is what it is. However, if you drive a car, there's an added expense in the form of a gas tax. The state adds on 53 cents to every gallon of fuel you purchase, and that's just the state. Counties and cities can add in their own taxes on top of that. If you own a home, you get to pay the second highest real estate tax in the land, with a tax rate of 2.31% of the home's value. Only New Jersey has a higher real estate tax. Then there are the vehicle taxes and fees. It was reported at the end of 2019 that part of the Rebuild Illinois plan would include increases to the fees charged to drivers, totaling up to a staggering $4.6 billion. They also pile on the so-called sin taxes. If you partake in tobacco or alcohol products, Illinois makes sure to get its cut of the sales. There is a $2.98 tax added per pack of cigarettes. If you drink wine, that's going to cost you an additional $1.39 per gallon. And if you buy liquor, go ahead and add $8.55 per gallon to the final tab. All of this adds up to us being taxed to death. Number 3. Politics. Illinois is a strange place, politically speaking. Everyone thinks of Illinois as being a blue state because our electoral votes always go to the Democrat running for president, and the state legislature is usually under the Democrats' control. But if you take a closer look at the individual parts of the state, you start to see a different picture. There are really only a few areas of the state that voted blue in the 2016 election. There's the Chicago and surrounding areas, of course, as well as East St. Louis. There's also Champaign County, which is home to the University of Illinois, and the Peoria area. A headline from 2016 says, "In Illinois, Chicago area Clinton votes overtook the rest of the state." And that pretty much sums up the way a good chunk of the state sees things. What this means is if you happen to be a Democrat in the rural areas or a Republican in Chicago, things can be uncomfortable for you. You're just out of your zone. Number 2. Chicago. Illinoisans who live outside of Chicago see the city as dragging down the rest of the state. There's been a movement for a while where people are trying to make Chicago its own state. It isn't really going anywhere, but they're trying. There are several reasons they want to unload the city. First, it impacts the statistics of the state, so they're not accurate. You can see this with cost of living and crime. Most of Illinois is rural and therefore has a low cost of living and low crime. East St. Louis being the exception on crime, of course. Chicago, by comparison, has a lot of crime and is an expensive place to live, so the state's statistics include both the city and rural rates to arrive at the percentages that you see posted on the numerous websites. Then there's the political side of it, where the politicians pander to the Chicago area. Yes, we know that Chicago brings in tourism dollars for the state, and they have a lot of issues to fix. But why is the rest of Illinois forgotten? We have issues to address as well. And that leads me to the number one reason why people should leave Illinois: corruption. In Illinois, we have a saying, all of our governors go to prison. And that's a bit of an overstatement. We don't send all of our governors to prison, but there have been more than average to serve time. The first governor got arrested way back in the 1920s, and that was Les Smalls. He was indicted for corruption, but he was acquitted. And then, miraculously, 8 of his jurors received state jobs. What a coincidence. Small's lawyer argued in court that the governor has the, quote, divine right of kings, and that says a lot about the mindset of Illinois politicians. In the last 60 years, there have been 4 governors to do time in prison. Their crimes were all related to money: bribery, pay-to-play schemes, tax evasion, taking out fraudulent loans. You get the idea. Unfortunately, the corruption reaches all over the state. You can see it in the judicial system. If a state's attorney wants someone badly enough, the police find ways of getting evidence, wink wink. And that's why Illinois has such a history of wrongfully convicting people. But anyway, that's my rant for the day. If you're also in Illinois and dreaming of getting out, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from my fellow Illinoisans. And thank you for watching. If you learned something new or you just enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know how I'm doing. And if you want to see more videos, please subscribe. And until next time, I remain stuck in the Kernfield.